What happens when an engineer and an actor walk into a bar? Well, for the next 30 minutes, we're about to find that out. Welcome to the Sports Lounge. It's another beautiful episode. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking especially about the talk of the town and see why Odumodu Black said if there's anybody you want to bounce on the world, it cannot be Mainoo. I'm seated here with Kobbie on my left and Tomi on my right, two bona fide TSL members. How you guys doing, man?
Very good, man. Good to be here.
It's great to finally have you. I know we've not had you yet, but it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. This is my debut. So I feel like
just to lay out the stats, Kobbie is one of the best TSL trivia members. He made an insane performance in one of our guest the footballers, and I'm great to have you and see that knowledge impacted in the show.
It's lovely to be here.
Alright, one man who's been here before, but I think it's the first time we'll be together on the show. It's Tomi. Tomi, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's nice to be back. It's nice to return.
One interesting thing both of them have together is the fact that they are both Arsenal fans, and I mean, you guys will be feeling top of the table at the moment.
What else now? It's been 20 long years of stress. Just seeing people fear us is enough, so I'm good.
Is the fear enough for you, or
No.
you actually want something to?
No, I want trophies. Mikel always says like the process, enjoy the process, but I need to see that light. I need to get to that light that is at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like this is the season we're going to do it. I feel like last season was the learning curve, getting the experience, how to, not bottle a title, and now we're fully ready and we have like the mentality monster. So I feel like this is the season for it.
When you say it, let me understand. Is it the UCL and the EPL, or just the UCL, or just the EPL? What is it?
It is the double.
Okay.
I'm talking that talk. It is the double.
Okay. All right. I guess we shall see. But yeah, Tomi, Arsenal has been playing mesmerizing football. You've been taking things to the cleaners for a while now, and really, how you said this is what you want. So I mean, how good does it feel? I want you to relate that.
Yeah, so for a long time, we've associated Arsenal with really good football, but no end product. And then from last season, we saw that Arsenal could score. And there was all the talk of, you cannot win the league without a 9. You can blah, 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 and talk like that. And now we see Arsenal scoring the most goals in the league without that said number 9, and with a wasted 9, as Chelsea fans call it. Either way, I just like to say that Arsenal is dogged now. The win against Porto, the win against Brentford, it shows that lack of steel, that fight that was absent in the later Wenger teams, where Arsenal just, you can see that last season's zone was more of immaturity, having one of the youngest squads competing. Now you can see with the likes of Jorginho having to man up in the team, help the youngsters, mentality monster Declan Rice. When we have players who have not even played anything at all this season, shows how good the team has been generally.
That's brilliant. If there's any, probably if there's any moment you take and you say, yeah, my team is back, or at least, like you said, they've beaten that mentality block from last season. What game would it be this year?
I think it's the victory against Manchester City. That was where it tweaked for me that okay, now we're here, because I remember Arteta's first season he actually defeated Man City in the FA Cup, and you could tell that the reason why we won that game was because we just put in grit and effort, but quality, you could tell that the gap was, but we went toe to toe with them in terms of like the quality, the style of play, everybody manned up, and we got the victory over there. And then therein I knew that okay, this team is actually here, and this is going to be here for the long term, because it's a very young team. If you look at it, a very, very young team. The core of the attack, Saka, Martinelli, they are like still less than 23 years old, so they are going to be here for a very, very long time. So it was that win against City that tweaked it for me and allowed me that now we're back. We're
so both
back.
of you telling me right here, right now, that if Saliba gets injured again, you'll be fine.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing with last season. No, that's the thing with last season. Last season, I feel like most Arsenal fans and even Arsenal as a club did not expect to be in a title race last season. At the beginning of the season, we did not expect that we were going to be in a title race. We didn't expect we were going to be competing with Man City and the likes. But it just came, and then we're like, oh, we're here. Oh, wow. And then let's just see how we go. Let's see how we go. And eventually we capitulated because we didn't have the experience. Now Saliba gets injured, Tomi is there, Timber is there, is back ready. So there is enough squad depth, there's enough versatility around the whole team. Kirio can play centre back and left back. Timber can play right back, left back, centre back. Tomiyasu can play anywhere across the centre of the back. So Saliba's injury won't do anything to the team, in my opinion. Yes, he is a force of nature, but I feel like we have enough to cover with anybody. Partey has been off for the whole season, and he was one of our best players last season, and we didn't even feel his absence. So we were well equipped this season, and I feel like this is the season that we're actually going to do it.
I like that confidence.
You know,
Tell me, are you that confident?
to comment on what he said about Saliba injury. So for me, it wasn't Saliba getting injured that was the issue. Losing Saliba and Tomiyasu together was the problem.
Yes.
And there was an experiment Arteta did in the, I think, second to last game of the Champions League group stage where he played Declan Rice as a centre back for 30 minutes. And I realized that with Thomas Partey coming back into the team and having Jorginho in the team, it means that even if Saliba goes and Tomiyasu goes because it's a regular, occurrence, you could have Declan Rice at centre back and have Thomas Partey in midfield, which still equates to a decent team.
He started his career as a centre back.
So it equates to a very decent team that will, and having Thomas Partey out for a very long time and him just coming back now, hopefully we have him for just the running, and so it's fine for us. So it's, as he said, with signing of Timber, Havertz, having Trossard, having Jorginho, just seems like you have 4 or 5 players who have barely touched the ball. Nelson, Vieira, they've not played at all, and they're just in the team. So it shows that the team is stacked. Kirio, this time last year, was a total different player entirely.
We're talking about shipping him out.
And all of a sudden, he has gone into his own. We don't have the holding disaster anymore too. So I think, as it is, losing 1 or 2 players might affect the overall performance of the team. That's true. But I don't think it's going to tank as bad as it did last season. Because last season, even if we had lost only Saliba, maybe we would have finished a point or 2 off City, and it wouldn't have been that bad. But we just
capitulated,
went off. So,
well, I didn't know this, but engineers and actors actually agree a lot, apparently. So, but yeah, it's great to hear Arsenal fans being confident about their team again. Very, very interested. As a United fan, I mean,
you are?
I am.
My condolences, bro.
I drink to that.
I want a good game.
Congratulations. I do that. I do that.
I mean, the FA Cup semi-final is set. United will play Coventry and Chelsea will play Manchester City. But what a game it was for Manchester United. And I mean, yes, the football isn't great. Things aren't really rosy, but there comes in times where, in season like this, where you get some victories that just make you feel good again. How do you think United fans would actually have taken that in?
But that was a proper Manchester United performance. Even in the glory days, the football hasn't always been the slick tiki-taka beautiful football. It's always been get the job done and attack the opponent, be direct as much as you can, and that was exactly what Manchester United did in that game. And obviously, looking at the whole team, the quality on paper, Liverpool are obviously the better team, but they had the fans behind them, backing them, and they had this never say die attitude that you could always associate with the times of Sir Alex Ferguson, and that was what did it for them. I feel like during the game, United could have actually sealed it off way earlier. Marcus Rashford had a couple of chances which I felt he could have buried, and when he missed those chances and then Harvey Elliott got Liverpool in front, I felt like, oh, this is Man U we've been saying for the past 2-3 days. But they dug in and then they found another gear, and then they went again, and then they got the equalizer, and then they got the winner through Amad Diallo, and it was very well deserved. I really do not want Liverpool to end up with anything this season. I really want them to club's farewell to be. I don't want it to have a fairy tale farewell. So yeah, exactly. I don't want him to have a fairy tale farewell in any way, shape, or form. So I was actually pleased for Manchester United, but it was a proper Manchester United fan performance, and I feel like it's something that they can build on. They can use as a foundation to build on for the rest of the season.
Brilliantly said. Now to the talk of the town and one man who played in that game, and I mean, Gareth Southgate. The talk that Gareth Southgate watched that game. I was like, nah, I'm putting you in my team. And Kobbie Mainoo, man, what the past few months he's been for this young man. 18 years of age, just recently made his debut after coming back from injury, and already is making the international team. So, first of all, before we even talk about if it's the right selection or the good selection, how massive is it for him?
I think I saw him in pre-season and I was asking myself, this kid is good. Like, not now, and so you see a lot of because I watch a lot of age grade football, and then you see some kids and you're like, yes, that one has talent. Whether he will become a star is a whole other
Different
of course,
question entirely, and different question, different conversation. But you look at Mainoo, this kid is good. And so against Madrid, there was a particular game in pre-season though that
against Arsenal. Yeah, it was against Arsenal. He balled out against us.
He stood. That's why I thought that.
Yeah.
He stood out and I'm like, these are the best set of Arsenal. This is the best set of midfielders in the league. With the addition of the Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Why is this boy playing this one? I'm like, I think this one to watch. Unfortunately, got injured against Madrid.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see him come back. And there's something about when the team is not doing well. I would like him as an Arsenal, but I like him when Smith-Rowe, Saka
came through for Arsenal. Yeah.
When you have such you have academies that used to be very good. Those boys understand what it is to play
for the badge.
Club. Yes, you could have blind players for 60 minutes of the year. They are mercenaries. They might not really feel in touch with the club as well. Know the cleaners' names, who their parents took them to training, who are probably from the city or from the ghettos in that area and stuff like that. And so you can see the will to play for the club. You can see the will to, and it's times like this when the club is down that those kind of players get the platform to rise. I was really impressed with. I've been impressed with him in most of his games. The maturity, he has a very good head on his head, and I think he will go places if he's well managed.
Interesting. Now talk about places. He's currently in the English court now, and there are some people that say, okay, yeah, congrats on this, but there are some that still believe that you're too young to make it, and not too young to make it. Sorry, you're too young to be called up. You just, I mean, when did you make your full professional debut?
Yeah.
Well, I know you're one of them. Why do you feel like it's not the right time for him? And if there is anything like that, what is the right time to call up a young player who is doing well?
So I feel like England, first of all, have a history of doing that. Whenever there's a new shiny young toy, they want to snap him up into the national team. Instead with Theo Walcott when he was at 16 in 2006. They did that with Wayne Rooney, very young. A whole lot of players have come in, and not all of them have necessarily lived up to the hype. And I feel like number one, it's actually to protect this kid, because the exposure, putting him to international football that quick might not be in his best interest. Yes, he's talented. Yes, he's a very, very good bowler. I've seen him play against my team. I've seen him dominate a midfield that has Odegaard and Rice in it. So he is actually talented. And secondly, one of the major reasons I thought of is when you look at the successful teams, in terms of the teams that win Euros, the World Cup, do you know how experienced you have to be to break into such a team? For example, the Spanish team from 2008 to 2012, there were players in there that were talented, properly talented. They could not find a way in, because you can't be on a run of 7, 8, 9, 10 games and break into that Spain team. No matter be an 18-year-old kid that breaks in, no, because they have a proper structure. You have to have gathered experience for a while, and that's why they were successful. And that's why I feel like England have been struggling over the past. Any quick thing that they see, they also want to international team.
I hear you, and I feel you, but most of the times what England has done in the past is that they bring in people that not necessarily solve an issue that they have. This person is doing well. Oh, okay. Pull up. Ricky Lambert scored so many goals. Pull up. This person scored. But does Kobbie Mainoo actually solve an issue that England currently have? And there's Anderson, who is obviously on fire. So, I mean, Declan Rice can't play there, but what was ideal, or what you've seen Declan Rice being ideal at, is having a partner.
Yes.
Don't you think Mainoo actually solves that?
In my opinion, what England lack is creativity from the midfield. And Southgate has adjusted that team to for the creativity not to come from the midfield. Instead, it comes from the likes of Kane dropping deep and linking up, and creativity comes from Saka or Foden or whoever plays on the right wing. So, or Trent, or when he steps into midfield or play. Yes, he's playing them in midfield. So he's set the team in such a way where the midfielders are hard workers. They run around, they do the dirty work, they make sure the defense is well protected, and they don't have any business, sending a ball over the top or unlocking a low block. That's never been England's way. The creativity always comes from out wide. So that's why I feel like Mainoo coming into that team doesn't really it doesn't, because if Southgate even puts him into the Euros, it's not going to start. He's not going to play. It's not like he's going to come and and be the one that maybe they're playing against a San Marino and then they have 10 minutes. He's not going to play. He's not going to be the one that gives that line breaking pass or that pass that splits the defense. He's not going to be that player. So I feel at this point the best thing would be to give him this. It's a friendly. Give him that experience. No problem. He's there already. Let him play a couple friendlies. Keep him safe. Keep him away from the spotlights. Let him build his career at Man U. watch his progress, then bring him back in. But after a run of 10, 20 games, bringing him to the English national team, no, that's not it for me. No.
I mean, Bobby has told us he thinks Mainoo doesn't solve an English issue. But just before I ask you if it does, I'm just going to name a couple of people who got called up for their team at a very young age and ended up doing great. Pele was called up when he was 16 years old. Maradona, same. Samuel Eto'o for Cameroon. Martin Odegaard for Wales. I'm sorry, for Norway, rather. So I mean, these guys also went on to do great. But Tommy, what's your take on the issue, and do you think he actually solved the issue?
Okay, so for the names you mentioned there, I want to address something in the names you mentioned. So there are different eras, and there's too much media in this era, and there's so much media coverage about their lives, their everything and so what the players have to contend with is a lot more. But Odegaard, that you mentioned, is actually a product of this issue. For years he was in the wilderness because there was so much light on him, there was so much expectation. He had to almost hide, and Arsenal now revived his career. So Odegaard is a perfect example of why you might need to keep those kind of talents cocooned a bit. Yeah. So for Mainoo, I slightly differ with what Bobby said. I think Mainoo solves the United problem. Sorry, not United. Sorry, an England national team problem. But I don't think he solves it for now. In the sense that you want him to grow and already understand the role. The role is a delicate role. Very difficult to find midfielders playing that particular role at that age already that's good. It's very difficult. Most deep line midfielders get better with the older they get. Not necessarily that. So when you see a player with skills, that kind of skill set, that's why someone like Gideon Zelalem was over bloated, because how do you see a 16, 17-year-old deep line playmaker, very coordinated, composed, come on the ball, not phased? Like, so it's very difficult to see that. And so when a player has it, you need to be careful, because there are three attributes of a player, or three, like the attributes of a player divided into three. There's the mental attribute, the technical attribute, and the physical. You first ask yourself, is the guy physically ready for this challenge I want to put him through? Yes, he might be physically ready. I think he has grown taller a bit recently, so he might be physically. Is he technically ready for what I want to put him through? Yes, he feels technically ready. But the most important is, mentally, is he ready? Not that when he now has some bad games and they come out for him like them Saka and them Rashford, how is he going to take it? Someone like Saka was mentally ready for what he was put through. I don't think Rashford was mentally ready when they threw him out, and that's why we still see this up and down yo-yo movements in his career.
Sancho,
because same thing with Sancho, same thing with Raheem Sterling. Pep had to literally coach some of the nonsense out of Raheem Sterling's head, and that's why if you notice, Pep had used Foden the way he used them up until now. Now that he knows, okay, now you are a man, now I don't think anything can get to you, now I can play you centrally, your temperament is a lot more different, because he was used to be more aggressive, now you are a lot more reserved. So yes, is he a talent? Yes. Do I think he solves the problem for England? Yes, it does, but I don't think he should solve that problem now. I think they should wait for him to grow. Declan is already 24, I'll be 25. In the next 4 years, Declan will still be there as the holding midfielder, and Mainoo will be like 23, and that will almost be like the perfect partnership they will get. And they might shortchange themselves by rushing him now, packing so much hype on him now, especially knowing that United's performances are not so strange. So the day he gives away a pass and United gets scored, or they get dumped out of the commission because he made a mistake, or they take him to the Euros and he misses a penalty, or at that age you don't want to start gambling those kind of things. As Bobby said, the greatest of teams in this era were teams with mature men. We can cry all day why does Saliba not start for France. Camavinga too doesn't necessarily start for France, and nobody is complaining as much, because you're looking at the coach knows that, you know what, if I put this ball in, there's so much noise, there's so much hype. How do I protect him? Do I have other players that can do a job for now and just cocoon him aside, and that you just let him grow into that? And that's what the Spaniards and the Germans used. When them Ozil and Müller had become, we didn't even know, they grew so quick that we didn't know they had grown. They took them to the World Cup at 22, 23. They were ready men, and they bowled. That's my own take on it.
Well, these are brilliant insights from two brilliant men. I also, I mean, seeing the way Pedri's health as in terms of injury,
wasn't physically ready.
Like it fears. There's some United fans that are afraid of this call-up because it might affect him. I mean, Lamine Yamal, Gavi, these guys are already being called up for Spain
There's a
and
back at
playing
there's
important
a Barcelona
parts.
left back that has been injured.
Kobbie
No, the left back that is injured. Badi. The same pattern with Pedri, the same pattern with.
It's becoming a pattern of Barcelona, actually. It's
pushing
very,
those kids.
It's very, very concerning. Like once there's a new talent, it's just like they want to burn him out as quickly as possible.
I think because they don't have money though. Maybe because of the money constraints. I'm guessing that's the reason why they are just rushing their teams. Because we saw Emerson Metro too. Arsenal just threw him in, bought 1 year, and all of a sudden we're looking for him.
Well, Mainoo is somebody we're not looking for. He's yet to be found. Whether he's going to stay on and become a big United and England legend is yet for us to see. But there's one thing that is certain: he's an amazing baller. Well, it's the international break, and even though we'll be wrapping up, I'll be going to my guys and asking them what fixture they're looking towards, to why they're looking towards, and what they think is coming for that particular team in the coming summer, where there are a lot of international competitions. The Euros, there's a South American Cup as well coming up, the Copa America rather. So, Tomi, I'm sorry.
I think there's an England-Brazil match which everybody wants to watch. Funny enough, I want to watch Hendrick. I think the noise is a lot. I've watched compilations and he looks like Messi. He literally looks like he's a Messi, a Brazilian version of Messi. So with the tricks and the flair of a Brazilian and the left foot of Messi. So I want to see how well, having Vinicius on the left and Hendrick on the right, how will Madrid look next season with the thought of Mbappe in the middle. Like there's a lot I want to see. So I want to watch him live and see what's going on. Then there's
for me it's France versus Germany, and it's not because of France, it's because of Germany. Since the 2014 World Cup, they've been performing below expectations, and I really want to see how ready they are. You know, they brought in, there's a lot of story around them. They brought back Toni Kroos back into the team, and they've revamped their whole thing. There's a lot of experiments. Kai Havertz has been playing left back for them, so I want to see how ready they are going into a competition like the Euros, and see how well they'll be performing. And no better test than the French national team, who are they're just that good. So it's just to see how ready Germany will be for the competition.
Brilliant. For me, I think Portugal, Sweden. One, because if you remember this World Cup qualification game, hat-trick. But also, there's a rumor coming out as regards Sweden's front four. There's the Victor
Gyökeres.
Thank you very much. Because I was about to chop my mouth now. Victor Gyökeres and the guys behind him, Elanga, Kulusevski and Isak. How's that looking?
So for what I read or what I heard that the coach is trying to play a formation where Isak plays in the hole behind Gyökeres and Elanga wide and Kulusevski on the way. I don't necessarily see how that works because Gyökeres is a gunman. He's there to score. Isak has his bit of trickery and creativity, but he does that more when he's playing out wide, as we've seen in games with Newcastle when Kalabousi plays at centre forward and he goes out wide. But seeing him play in the the kind of the Ozil, Dennis Bergkamp role, it's quite interesting. I don't necessarily see how that works in my head, but he's the coach. I'm sure he must have seen some things in training, so that'll be very, very interesting to see how that turns out in that game. I personally do not see it, but let's see what the coach has in store.
Interesting stat about Gyökeres, by the way. He's the first player since Bruno Fernandez to hit over 40 goals and assists in a single season. So definitely expect that switch from the Portuguese.
He's been on fire
very, very soon.
He's been on fire.
I'm going to leave today's show by 2 takeouts from my guys. Tell me which player has impressed you the most this season. What league has impressed you the most this season? Any of them? Any of this? Just one particular thing that's been so special for you this season.
For me, it was watching Bayern Leverkusen's front five. I call it the front five because Frimpong and Teller on the right and Grimaldo on the left are not fullbacks. Those guys, I think Frimpong has some of the highest number of touches in the opponent's box. For a right back, that makes absolutely no sense. And so watching that front five operate, every time they go forward, you can tell that there's one cross going to come from either Grimaldo or Frimpong and the other one is going to score. Like you could see it against Karabakh. I was literally telling my friends, that thing will happen. Just watch. Once they brought him on, Frimpong on, it's going to happen, and it definitely happened. So I've been so impressed with Alonso and what he's doing with Bayern.
I wanted to say Arsenal, but obviously they know I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'll say I'll be very impressed with Aston Villa this season. I'm really impressed with Villa and what they're doing. Emery is a very, very underrated coach. I feel like he does not get his flowers. He's tactically very good. I know he has I can see your face. I know he had this thing with us where he didn't necessarily go the way he should. But he is actually underrated. What he's doing with Villa, what he does with his strikers. Aubameyang with us and Watkins. Look what he's doing. Watkins. He's really impressive. And I never thought Villa would be in a position where they're thinking about Champions League football. But here they are, they're competing with the likes of Spurs, United, and so he's done a very, very good job. And I'm really rooting for them to get that first place. Really, really rooting for them. I know you don't like that, but I am.
It's calm. For me, it's almost similar, but it's somebody in that team, and that's really working. In a season where England will be going to the Euros, he's come out and become so very good. He won't bench everything, definitely.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that Southgate should look out after him, definitely has to be working. Thank you so very much. My name is Olabam00, and this show is sponsored by Johnny Rocket, the best sports bar in all of Lagos, and Kobbie, a new online gaming system. And so much thanks to Bobby and Tomi. Please follow us on our YouTube channel at Home of the Sports Lounge, on Twitter, on Instagram. Till next week. Goodbye.